Hi, I'm Scott Flowers with Cloud Ninjas. Today we're here to continue our series on the Dell PowerEdge R470 server. In this video, we're going to go over drives. Let's get going. Hey, thanks for stopping by today to learn a little bit more about the Dell PowerEdge R470 server. Do us a favor, if you find anything that helps in this video, click that like, smash that subscribe. All right, we'll top in. Now, this video is going to be dedicated to drives. It'll be the third video in our series. If you didn't know we're doing a series, we've already knocked out memory and CPUs, and we're going to be doing a bunch more to cover really as much as we can about the R470 as a whole. If there's something that you think we should cover, hey, drop a comment down below and we'll see if we can add it for future series. So, all right, this one will be dedicated to drives. So what we're going to do, first off, we're going to go over the different types of chassis. And you might say, well, why are we talking about chassis in a drive video? Well, it's kind of important because it's going to lead to what are the compatible interfaces that you can use, because depending on the type of chassis you have will depend on what type of drive you can use. Then we're going to go over the speeds and sizes that are supported for those different compatible interfaces. Then we're going to show you how to physically install the drives, which is going to be super easy because they're hot swap, but we're going to show you nonetheless how to do it. And then at the very end, we're going to show you two testing tools, Dell Diagnostics, which is built into the server already, and HD Sentinel. This is a standalone tool that we like here personally. We have in our lab set up a storage array where we'll take drives and we'll pop them into our storage array and we'll test them before we put them into a live production environment. And we're going to test them for power on hours, health score, ensure that they're a new drive, or if they are a used drive, we want to at least make sure that they're a good used drive and see how long it's been running. So anyhow, let's just hop into all the fun stuff. All right, so this is going to bring us to the different types of chassis. So there are going to be 5 types of chassis for the Dell PowerEdge R470 server. The first 2 are going to utilize the E3.S drives, which is going to be a different form factor than we're currently showing up here, and it's going to be an 8-bay and a 16-bay. That is the advantage of the E3.S drives, is that they're going to be a little bit smaller. So for a 1U, or you can do it for a 2U as well, but for a 1U, you can shove in more drives and get 16 of them in a 1U form factor, which you're definitely not going to get with your normal U.2 or U.3, which is a 2.5-inch drive, or your large form factor 3.5-inch drives. That's not going to be, possible, like physically, there's not enough space. So that was kind of the invention of the E3.Ss. I do believe the manufacturers thought they were going to be a lot more prevalent already at this time and date. Like all the projections that came out were like these things are going to be a huge part of the market right now. And really, we haven't seen it. When we're doing most of our builds, we're still building most of the time with 2.5-inch and 3.5-inch drives, depending on if it's a storage box or just a regular CPU compute. We do some E3.Ss with the GPU boxes, basically because they might be spec'd in that way or built that way, but really I don't see there's a huge demand for it. But anyhow, the other boxes that you're going to get, there's going to be an 8-bay and a 10-bay, and those are going to be your standard 2.5-inch drives. They're going to be tri-mode. So tri-mode means it's going to be able to take SATA, SAS, or NVMe. Keep in mind, if you're using SAS, you have to have a hardware RAID controller, so just keep that in mind if you're using SAS for whatever reason. I feel like NVMe is going to be the big winner here because NVMe right now is going to be faster, better performance, and actually cheaper than SAS and SATA solid-state drives right now. But those are going to be your first 4 chassis, and your last chassis is going to be a 4-bay 3.5-inch or a large form factor. This is in case you're wanting to do some storage boxes and maybe throw in some large storage type drives or physically hard drives as opposed to solid state drives. So those are going to be your 5 types of options. All right, so that brings us to our compatible interfaces, and then we'll break down each one of the compatible interfaces. So you are going to have your SATA solid state drive, your SAS solid state drive, your NVMe solid state drive, and those are all going to be your 2.5-inch. And again, this will be your standard 2.5-inch, what a lot of you probably have in your head as far as what a drive looks like. And then you are going to have your E3.S NVMe drives as well. So those are going to be your form factors on the solid state drive side. Now on the hard drive side, we're going to skip the 2.5-inch because most people really just aren't using that nowadays, and we're just going to go to, if you're using a large form factor, and you're going to be able to use a SATA or a SAS hard drive. So those are going to be your different types of compatible interfaces. All right, so let's break these bad boys down and just compare everything. So SATA SSDs. So the speed for that is going to be 6 gigabit per second. It's been that for years and years and years, but it's still going to be 6 gigabit per second. For SAS, it's going to be 12 gigabit per second. And then for NVMe, these are going to be a Gen 4 box for the 2.5 inch, and when you go to the E3.S, it's going to be a Gen 5 box. So those are going to be the different speeds. Now you go, okay, well, what sizes can I put in? Well, according to Dell's spec sheet, and I always like to bring that up because Dell's spec sheet isn't always perfect, right? That's kind of why we do these videos. Dell, their engineers might only have certain components to test with at said time when they have their boxes and they're doing their complete reviews. So sometimes they might not have a 256 gig module to test out, and then they'll just say it only maxes out at 2 terabytes of RAM using 128 gigs. Luckily, when we did the memory video, they had tested 256 and they do work, but that kind of stuff will happen, and it happens for hard drives as well and for solid state drives. So according to the spec sheet, it says 3.84. Do you guys really think that the max drive for SATA is 3.84? No. What that really means is that they probably don't care about the SATA as much because they figure most sure you're going to put NVMe in nowadays, and they pop into 3.84, and that's what they spec'd in, and that's fine. We threw in some 15.36, and those work just fine. They don't even show SAS on the spec sheet, and again, you would need to have a RAID controller, but hardware RAID controller too. But for SAS, you can put in 15.36 as well, and I bet you if you threw in some 30 TBs, they probably work just fine as well. Now, when you go to NVMe, this one they actually spec'd in. You can see this is where they cared because they're like, yeah, 61 terabyte. This was what will work. We tried all the way up to 61. Where for SATA they're like, yeah, 3.84. We're good. Kind of lets you know where the market's really headed, right? And then same thing for the E3.S. It's going to be a 61 terabyte as well. So those are going to be your overall sizes for the solid state drives. Now, when you go to hard drives, these are going to be, again, the large form factors that we're talking about. They actually played around, and I say did a really good job on this side because they spec'd in 32 terabytes, which means they really actually tried all the drives, because sometimes I'll see it'll say 24 or 26 terabyte, and I'm like, I bet you it would work higher, but they actually did go ahead and throw 32 terabyte drives in, and you could load that bad boy up and put 4 of them in the front and actually get, was that 128? It's pretty insane storage for a 1U box. And on that note, so let's say that you did get the 3.5 inch chassis where you have the 4 large form factor in the front, but you're not actually wanting to put in hard drives. That's okay. You can get one of these trays with this adapter or this converter here, and this adapter will actually allow you to install a 2.5 inch drive and still pop it in just like a normal hot swap using a normal Dell tray. Everything works just fine. We actually have these on our website, so if you go to our website, it'll give you an option where you can buy this adapter when you're ordering your SSD just to make sure it installs perfectly. But that being said, if you are doing that, you're not going to be able to put NVMe into the 3.5 inch drive. You're going to be using SATA or SAS SSD, so just did want to highlight that. And one thing not to gloss over is going to be the boot drives. So one thing we don't want to gloss over is the boot drives. So you can add in an optional Boss in1 card, which will allow you to drop in 2 M.2 SATA, no NVMe, SATA SSDs, and those are going to be 2280, so they're a little bit shorter. You're only going to be able to get a 480 or a 960. I'm sure if you threw in some consumer ones, you probably could get them a little bit higher, but of course Dell's not going to want you to do that. We didn't have any time to play around and throw any consumer ones in, but that's what you're going to get for your Boss cards. All right, so now we've talked quite a bit, so let's go ahead and hop into some of the fun stuff. We're going to show you how to do the install, which again is going to be super easy, and then after that we're going to show you how to do the 2 testing tools that we recommend. But before we start, I'm going to grab my ESD gear and be right back.
Hey, this is Mason with Cloud Ninjas, and today I'll be showing you guys how to install your drives into your Dell PowerEdge R470 server. Now, as you can see, we have our SSD here, and we'll be using it to replace the hard drive in the second bay. Now, one key thing to note is that pressing this button here will pop the lever out, allowing you to uninstall your drives from your server. So now we will go ahead and press this button and simply pull this hard drive all the way out. All right, and as you can see, this is the hard drive that we just uninstalled. So we'll go ahead and set this to the side. Now we'll go ahead and grab our SSD, and we'll go ahead and slot it in the second bay all the way in, and we'll go ahead and put that lever back down to secure the drive in place. Now, if the drive ever gets stuck or doesn't go all the way in, all you need to do is just press on the spring in the corner of the lever, and then that will help you get the drive slotted all the way into the drive bay. Congratulations, you have done it. You successfully installed your drives into your Dell PowerEdge R470 server. All right, so now we'll go ahead and show you 2 testing tools that we really like, Dell Diagnostics and HD Sentinel. Be right back.
All right, so now I'm going to show you guys how to test your
hard drives and solid state drives with Dell Diagnostics. So let's get started. First thing you'll do is boot up your server. Once your server is booted up, you'll go ahead and press F10 to get us into the lifecycle controller. Once we are in the lifecycle controller, go ahead and scroll down to Hardware Diagnostics and then select Run Hardware Diagnostics. You'll get this warning here that lets you know that these tests will take several minutes to finish depending on your system's configuration, and so you'll go ahead and click Yes, and then that will load us into Dell Diagnostics. Pretty easy, right? So we're going to let these tests run, and these tests can run from 7 minutes to several hours, so just wait this out. If you're familiar with 12th gen and 13th gen, you will notice that this looks very different. Dell decided around the 14th and 15th gen to create a simpler screen with the information being in the middle instead of being on the left side of the screen. As you can see in the middle here, it will tell you what hardware is being tested and how long it will be till that test is complete. Now overall, it's just a cleaner and simpler look, and now we will go ahead and fast forward since these tests do take some time. Be right back. So once that final test is done running, it will stop and you'll get this message that says success. So all our tests have passed. And if you have a fail in the system, a message will pop up saying that this test for this hardware has failed. And at the very end here, we can take a look at all the tests that ran. And this will look similar to the older generations of PowerEdge servers. And you can see all the devices and how well they performed with the test that we just ran. You can even go into the event logs and see the test and find any failures that happened in the process. And this is how you can test your drives with Dell Diagnostics, but not just the drives, but you can also have your CPU, your memory, graphics cards, all hardware in your Dell PowerEdge server can be tested with this Dell Diagnostics. It's really simple, and you'll just make sure that everything is working in proper conditions. All right, so I have HD Sentinel pulled up right now, and as you can see, we currently have 2 drives plugged into a storage array, so we can go ahead and test multiple drives at a time. HD Sentinel is an awesome tool since you can see the power on hours, health scores, and how well it is performing overall. This is great, especially if you're using used drives, so that way you can go ahead and see how long that drive has been in use, so you're not using a drive that's been heavily used or have a high risk of drive failure. Now all you need to do is just plug in your drive in the array, and it will automatically populate within the software. And from here you can look at all the information, including health scores, which these 2 drives have 100% health scores, while the new one that we just plugged in here at the bottom has a 99% health score. So overall, this one's pretty good. Hey, do us a favor, click that like button and smash the subscribe. If you're looking for any custom built Dell, HPE, Supermicro, Gigabyte, Asus, IBM, Cisco, we do it all. We have both new and refurbished. So please give us a call or email us at sales@cloudninjas.com. That's sales@cloudninjas.com. Anyways guys, thanks for stopping by.